What is up guys, Alex from Lakey Wargames here and welcome to today's video. Today's just a short one, a little talky through video, so if you're painting, hobbying along, you just crack right on. There's nothing really on the screen for this one. But we're going to be talking about the new Age of Sigmar Battletome roadmap for 2022/2023. Okay, so if you haven't seen it already, I'll chuck a picture up on the screen for you now. But Games Workshop recently gave us a new picture of the Battletome roadmap for the end of this year and going into next year. Now they break this down into a winter, spring and summer sort of proportions, which to me I've never really been a big fan of. I wish they would just give us like months, just be like, between these 2 months there is a such and such book or anything like that. But I guess it covers their own back, deadlines and things if things need to be shifted around. But for the winter portion, there are 3 books which have been revealed to us, and these are the Slaves to Darkness book, which we've already seen, and is obviously currently available within the limited edition Slaves to Darkness box set which just came out. Then newly announced to us is a Beasts of Chaos book and a Gloomspite Gits book. Finally, the Gits have got the book they've been long awaiting for, and I'm sure it's going to be full of awesome goodness. Now there were 9 books in total, and those 3 have been given to us as faction specific. The other 6 are just tied to the grand alliances that they're a part of, and we won't know specifically what they are until a bit further along. But there is 2 Chaos, there's 2 Order, and there are, excitingly for me personally, because I'm a massive player of these factions, and there are 2 Death Battletomes. So there's a little bit of everything, little bit of something for everybody on the way. Now, given what we know about the factions at current, there are still quite a lot of outstanding factions that need books. With the Order Tome, I'm hoping, my wish list for one of those is that it's going to be a Cities of Sigmar book. And the other one is probably going to be, in my guesses, probably a Seraphon book, because even though they don't really need one because they stand up so well in this edition with the book that they currently have, it's a very popular army, it's played a lot of tournaments, and a lot of people like to collect them. Even though some of the models really could do with updating, they are still collected because they are a cool looking range. So I'm going to guess that one of them will be Seraphon and one of them will be Cities. I'm guessing that the Cities one would be the one that's at the furthest back in the summer, because Slaves just got a sort of a range refresh. I don't imagine we're going to see too much for Gits or Beasts, probably just refreshed books. We have seen that cool, actually now I think about it, there was a Beast Lord model that was announced, so I'm guessing they're going to get that one sort of hero model and a book. Gits probably won't see too much, they'll just get a nice needed rules revamp, but I'm hoping that Order Battletome at the back in the summer is going to be Cities, and along with that book will be like a whole model refresh. They've teased a few things over on Warhammer Community, and what we've seen so far is looking really good. The Chaos Battletomes, I've seen some rumours online of things about Chaos Dwarves. We've obviously heard about that for a long time. We had a few of the Warcry bands that have got Chaos Dwarves sort of in or around them, which kind of reinforces this point that I've always had, that when they do things for Warcry or Underworlds, it sort of teases what they're planning on doing in the future. Like they put these things out, it's almost like little feelers into the community just to see what everyone thinks about the models that have come with the warband, and then they build on that in future. And that is quite a common trend. It's not always 100% accurate, but you can bet at some point in the future the things that have come out for the warbands do end up becoming sort of fully fledged units for their factions. But with these 2 Chaos Battletomes, it would be just nice to see Slaanesh and Khorne rewritten up into 3rd Ed, brought into the front line, and then that's pretty much all the Chaos stuff covered. Now, wish listing for the 2 Death Battletomes, hoping that they are going to be Flesh Eater Courts and Ossiarch Bone Reapers, because those 2 are lacking in power in the current edition. They could do with some niceties out there. Disappointingly, there is very strong sort of feelings out in the community and evidence to support the fact that one of these is probably going to be Soulblight again, for the same reason that Seraphon probably going to be one of the Order Tomes, in my opinion, is that they are very popular. They are obviously the big Grand Alliance in Death. That sort of has a bit of everything. They've got skeletons, they've got zombies, they've got vampires. So if you're not specifically into your Nighthaunt or just into your Ossiarch, then Soulblight is a good go-to for many people interested in the Death faction. They do have very cool stuff, but in my opinion, it'll be much cooler to see OBR and FEC get updated, purely on the fact that Soulblight can hold their own in 3.0 just fine. But again, from a marketing standpoint, kind of maybe get the Lumineth treatment and get a new Soulblight book already. That said, if you guys follow me on any of my personal social medias, on Instagram or Facebook, I've recently been dropping off a lot of my personal armies. I collect several Age of Sigmar armies, and it's got to that point where the collections are growing to a point where I don't get enough hobby time in on my personal projects, or to even just game these days is a lot further down the line. So to have several armies at once, as cool as it is to have all these different collections, and as much as I do love them all, it's just a lot of wasted models just sitting around in boxes doing nothing. So I've really cut back on my personal projects. I'm letting quite a few of them go, and OBR is one that I'm really going to focus in on and sort of keep a close eye to. And that's just because I love everything about the faction. I love the models, I love the lore, just the whole aesthetic, just everything to do with them. So I've got a little bit of a wish list that one of them will be OBR, and that OBR will get archers and some sort of bone construct chariots, because I think that'd be really sick. If they have a mechanic like Blood Knights, say they cause like impact hits on the way in, they could have a rubbish combat profile, like do nothing when they're stuck in combat, that's fine. But if they did like mortal wound impact hits on the charge, and then had an ability like Blood Knights and Soulblight, where depending on the size of the unit that they've just crashed into, they can move over the top of them, move through them, and deal mortal wounds as they move out, and then be able to charge again later that turn to really simulate chariots just smashing into infantry. And the lighter that infantry is, the easier they can just mow straight over the top of them and then just charge into something else. I think that would be really, really cool. But the chances, I think, of OBR getting one of these as a book and new units at the same time, probably very, very low. I could just see this being a tome refresh. Flesh Eater Courts, of all the Death factions, they are my least favourite, but they are also the most deserving of a new book, and B, some units added to their line, because they are a very small faction in terms of diversity. I'm not too sure off the top of my head where I would go if I had to personally choose to add to Flesh Eater Courts. I'm sure there are lots of ideas already out there. But yeah, it's exciting to see. And I would love to hear what you guys think. Have you seen anything online? Is there anything alluding to what these tomes might already be? Again, I'm really hoping that one's OBR and that one is cities, and that the Chaos tomes are just bringing everything into line. And yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm wishing, really wishing on that OBR one. Archers and chariots would be absolutely sick. But you guys let me know in the comments down below what you think these tomes might be and what you're most looking forward to. And as always, stay safe, happy wargaming. Psst, hey you! Did you know that Lakey Wargames now has an official eBay store? You can buy yourself all kinds of pre-painted and new on sprue hobby goodness and support the channel at the same time. There's a link in the description below if you want to check it out. I'd greatly appreciate it, and it's a fantastic way to support the channel. Okay, see you in the next one.